Lauren is the district attorney of Manhattan. Despite her youth, she is known for her principles and incorruptibility. On this day, she appears in court, and afterwards she attends a meeting where her brother, William, is giving a speech as part of his political campaign, as he is an aspiring politician. Meanwhile, their father, banker Archer Monroe, suddenly dies on his way to his summer house. Later, a mourning ceremony takes place, after which the family gathers at the estate. Friends and relatives express their condolences. Brother and sister discuss how to help their mother, who is struggling with the loss of her husband, and agree that they should first listen to their father's will. William supports Lauren, reminding her that their father was very proud of her. However, Lauren is convinced that William was actually their father's favorite. Despite this, the relationship between the siblings is very warm. The will is read, and the estate is bequeathed to his wife, Catherine. William receives $20 million, while Lauren is given $1 million. The rest is to be donated to charity. The family lawyer, Harold Thulis, hands Lauren an envelope that her father left specifically for her. She opens it and finds a flash drive with a video message from her father where he tells her about a secret bunker located on the estate. Lauren asks her husband to leave without her and goes to a place where she often played as a child, recalling how her father was furious when he found out about it. It turns out that the entrance to the underground was located right there. Lauren opens the doors, descends the stairs, and turns on the electricity. She is a bit scared but moves forward anyway. Suddenly, she hears coughing ahead, and she sees an elderly man, unkempt and in poor condition. He frightens Lauren so much that she runs out of the bunker. Reaching the house, Lauren dials the emergency services number, but quickly hangs up. When they call her back, she apologizes, explaining that her daughter was playing with her phone. At this moment, her brother calls out to her. William doesn't understand why their father divided the inheritance this way and offers to split the money evenly, but Lauren refuses. He should spend everything on his campaign because he dreams of becoming a successful politician. Later, their mother notices Lauren's troubled state, and Lauren asks if her father had any enemies. Catherine asks her not to dwell on it. Night falls, and the guests leave. Lauren wanders through the house looking at photos and remembering how she argued with her father about her decision to get married. Although Archer was against her chosen one, she managed to get her way. Lauren finds her father's gun and returns to the bunker. She turns on the light and calls out to the unknown man. He doesn't respond, as he is fast asleep. Taking advantage of this, Lauren takes his fingerprints. The man wakes up and compliments the mask Lauren put on when she entered. The prisoner asks her to show her face, hinting that he knows who she is. Seeing her hesitation, the man calls her full name, exact date of birth, lists important milestones in her life, and even remembers childhood bad habits. Lauren removes the mask, and the prisoner is pleased to finally meet her. He is curious about how her father died and laughs, realizing that he himself is her father's legacy. The man is convinced that Lauren is a good person, so she must release him immediately. But Lauren first wants to know his name. However, the prisoner bargains. He will tell her everything about himself if she brings him a steak, crab salad, fresh bread, a cigarette, chocolate, and a fresh newspaper. And yes, a 30-year-old drink, 1 year for each year of his imprisonment. Lauren demands the truth, and the man adds a razor to the list. He wants to clean himself up. He assures her that once she fulfills his demands, he will tell her the truth, and she, having learned everything, will immediately grant him freedom. However, Lauren paints a different picture. She will simply leave, forgetting about this door. She heads for the exit, but the prisoner stops her, only to ask for a piece of lime pie, and it would be nice to leave the light on, as Archer only allowed it for an hour a day. Lauren leaves in silence. At home, she scans the fingerprints she obtained and sends them to a detective friend to check them against the database. Later, she contacts her husband, who reminds her about the evening concert in which their daughter is performing and asks her not to be late. In the evening, Lauren returns to the bunker with large bags containing everything the prisoner requested. He falls into ecstasy after tasting the meat, and Lauren has to give him time to prepare for the story. She calls her partner to ask him to start the session without her, citing an important matter. Then she returns to the prisoner, who is muttering the recipe for lime pie to himself. The man apologizes. Her father brought him a piece of chocolate once a year at Christmas and placed it out of his reach to mock him. And he also took pictures. Lauren pulls out a box containing photographs that captured each year the man spent in this bunker, and this is his life. The prisoner finally gives his name, Morgan Warner. Once he and her father were friends and shared similar vices, gambling, vanity, and women. Archer was always a real hustler and considered himself superior to Morgan, who was then planning to become a doctor. But one night changed all his plans. They were at the summer house then. A big game was starting in the city, and the men decided to go there. Before leaving, they had some drinks, and when they hit the road, Archer hit a pedestrian to death. He was just a boy, just like them. Morgan wanted to call the police, but Archer panicked, and at his insistence, the guys covered up the crime. They buried the victim's body in the woods, although Morgan was against it, and that sealed his fate. Archer took Morgan captive to prevent the murder from being exposed. To keep people from searching for him, Archer spread rumors that Morgan had robbed him and fled the country. Over the years, Archer treated Morgan like a confessor and told him many of his secrets. For example, about his great love, Sophia. Lauren doesn't believe it because her father loved his wife very much. But Morgan mentions the mistress's nickname, Gypsy Rose, and reveals that the affair lasted throughout Archer's married life. Morgan gives her Sophia's address and advises her to check the truth of his story. Maybe then she will believe the rest. And by the way, there is a secret part of the will where Sophia's name appears, which she can find out from the lawyer. Angry, Lauren leaves. On her way to the city, she calls the detective and asks him to find out if Morgan Warner was listed as missing many years ago. She also asks him to send the findings to her country house by regular mail. Later, Lauren attends a court session, then goes to the address Morgan mentioned. Sophia doesn't seem surprised by her visit and calmly talks about her love affair with her father. Then Lauren notices a picture of a boy, and Sophia confesses that this is her half-brother. Lauren is horrified. If her mother finds out about this, it will kill her. But the woman reminds her that Lauren came here. She and her son live their own lives and don't claim anything. Lauren hurries to the lawyer and accuses Harold of covering up her father's affair. But the man reminds her that he is a lawyer and has no right to teach people how to live. Sophia has signed written commitments and will never reveal the secret, so there's nothing to worry about. Lauren asks the man about Morgan, but he has never heard of this name. Lauren drives to her mother. Under the pretext of sorting through her father's documents, she asks her about Morgan Warner, but the woman has never heard this name. Catherine gives her daughter a check, believing that money shouldn't destroy their family, but Lauren refuses it. William arrives and talks about his campaign, complaining about a slanderous article in the newspaper. He asks his sister to speak at his meeting, and Lauren promises to do so. At night, she returns to the bunker. She almost believes Morgan, but she needs more proof. Then the prisoner suggests showing her the place where the pedestrian's body is buried. But for that, he needs to be taken there, as he doesn't remember the coordinates. Lauren agrees. At gunpoint, she leads the prisoner outside. He is intoxicated by the forest air and cries because he can finally feel the freshness of nature. At this moment, Lauren's husband calls, very upset that she didn't show up. She missed the concert and didn't even call, and now their daughter is crying in bed. The woman promises to fix everything and sets off, following Morgan's directions. They arrive at a forest clearing, and Lauren starts digging in the indicated spot, afraid to release the man. The hole grows, but there's nothing resembling a corpse. Lauren screams in frustration, stabbing the ground with the shovel, and suddenly there's a dull thud from below, and a human skull emerges from the soil. Morgan taunts Lauren, who quickly starts burying the discovered bones. The pair returns to the bunker. Lauren forces Morgan to wear a collar because she needs to think about what has happened. The man yells at her. He lost his entire life because of her father, but Lauren rightly points out that she had nothing to do with it. She didn't lock him up or kill that guy. So she needs time. Morgan swears he won't say a word about what happened to him. He doesn't intend to destroy her and her brother's careers and plans to simply disappear from their lives. But Lauren leaves. That night, she again recalls her arguments with her father and Morgan's story, convincing herself that Archer was a monster. In the morning, she rushes to court. A corruption case is being considered, and Lauren's attention is suddenly drawn to the company named Gypsy Rose. She realizes that her father was involved in shady dealings. She goes to the lawyer, and he confirms her suspicions, but he asks her to forget about it. Worried, Lauren rushes to her brother, and he has to admit that he, like their father, is willing to do anything for the family's well-being. Lauren thinks over everything she has learned and goes to Morgan. She believes that he was wronged and demands his word that he will leave and never return. Having received it, she orders the man to pack. Lauren also orders Harold to open an offshore account and charter a private plane so that Morgan can disappear. The lawyer tries to dissuade her, but she feels it is her duty to atone for her father's crime. Later, Lauren returns for Morgan, who has transformed, having shaved and dressed in new clothes. But the man lets slip that Archer bribed people to help his children get elected to public office. Lauren goes back to her brother, and he admits that it's true. He is surprised at her naivety. Did she really think she achieved the prosecutor's position on her own? Lauren returns to the bunker and drives Morgan to the airfield, where a private plane and Harold are waiting to help the man adjust in a foreign country. As they part, Morgan gives her the recipe for lime pie that he has kept all these years, and Lauren promises to pin all unsolved cases on him if he returns to America. The plane prepares for takeoff, and Lauren drives away. Meanwhile, the detective finds the documents on the person whose fingerprints she had sent and mails them to the estate. Catherine brings the envelope into the house and opens it. When Lauren arrives, she sees her mother's face contorted in horror as she names Morgan's real name, Carson, claiming he is evil incarnate. Lauren reveals that Archer kept him in the bunker for 30 years and admits that she released him. She asks her mother to lock the doors and drives to the airfield, where she finds the plane and Harold's body in the hangar. By the time Lauren returns, Catherine has disappeared. The daughter runs to the bunker, where she finds her mother lying unconscious on the floor. She tries to revive her when Carson calls out to her. He mocks the girl's naivety and trust. Then he takes her gun and beats her. Lauren wakes up, chained. Carson admits that he is responsible for Archer's death, as he used the poison Archer intended to use on him. He knew right away that Lauren would pity him, but William would have simply thrown away the keys. At this point, Catherine begins to regain consciousness. Carson lifts her and sits her in a chair, although the woman can barely move from the beating. The man reveals that he once drugged Catherine and forced her into intimacy. That's when Archer threw him in the car and drove off somewhere, accidentally hitting the unfortunate young man. So now Archer was in his hands. He had no choice but to hide Carson in the bunker. Now he plans to destroy their entire family, starting with Lauren's daughter. Hearing this, the woman attacks Carson, injuring his eyes, and during their struggle, the man manages to say that he is Lauren's biological father. But then Catherine grabs his gun and kills the man. Lauren and Catherine pour gasoline over the bunker and set it on fire, destroying all traces of the man who disappeared 30 years ago. The whole film is a dive into the story of a lecherous father and the moral choice to punish or forgive that the main character faces, ultimately concluding, no good deed goes unpunished.